Good afternoon, grade 9s. Welcome back to today's lesson. The topic is about cost calculations. But before we're going to start, let's just greet each other in the box. You guys will see if I already put in the box that you must please have a pen, paper and a calculator ready because you might going to do some calculations later in the lesson. Right, first of all, before we're going to start, what I mean with the cost calculations is in grade 9, then we're not going to do a service business anymore. The books of it, like you've done in grade 8, we are going to look at the trading business. And with a trading business, you need to do some calculations like either the selling price, the cost price, or what the profit is going to be. Sorry, guys. So I've put an example there in front of you, and it is saying calculation of profit and the selling price. And then it is saying Mavis Sitole is the owner of a small tuck shop. She purchases a packet of chips at 3 rand. She maintains a profit markup of 40% on the cost price. First calculate the profit and then the selling price of a packet of chips. Right, and then I've calculated it for you, and there's the solution. So if you need to do the profit, then you're going to do it, they say, on the cost price or on the 3 rand. So 3 rand times 40%. Now, if it is a percentage, then it's always divided by 100, and that gives you 1 rand 20. So the profit that she's making is 1 rand 20. So if you add the 1 rand 20 with the cost price, with the 3 rand, then you will get 4 rand 20. So the 4 rand 20 will be then your selling price. All right, so there is already 2 calculations that you can see. First, you will need to calculate the profit amount, okay, and secondly, the selling price, or what is going to be sales. Now, to get the profit amount, you take the cost price times the percentage, the profit markup percentage that they will give to you. And then your answer you're going to add to the cost price to get your selling price. Right, there's the calculation of the cost price or the cost of sales. Okay, let's look at the example. It's again Mavis Sitole sells the fruit juices in a tuck shop for 5 rand each and maintains a profit markup of 40% on the cost price. At what price did she purchase the fruit juices? Okay, so what they give, the information that they give to you is the selling price, the 5 rand, and they give you the profit markup percentage of 40%. What they want is at what price did she purchase the fruit juices? So what is the cost price? Now, here are some formulas that you need to remember. So the formula to calculate the cost price, you're going to take the selling price, that means the 5 rand, and you're going to multiply it with 100 divided by 100 plus the profit percentage. Okay, I'm going to repeat that one. So you're going to take the selling price, multiply 100 divided by 100 plus the profit percentage. So you're going to divide it by 140 because the profit percentage was 40%. So if you look there, then you get to the answer of 3 rand 57. So 3 rand 57 is what? That's your cost price. The 5 rand is what? That's your selling price. If I'm going to ask you what is the profit, what do you need to do? Take the selling price of 5 rand minus the cost price of 3.57. And the answer that you will get will then be your profit amount. Okay, look again at the formula for calculating cost of sales. Now, let me first say something and then we can talk about it again. If you go and buy, let's say, a can of Coke at your tuck shop at the school, let's say it's costing 12 Rand. What is that 12 Rand? That is the selling price. Okay, of course, the tuck shop purchased it at somebody else for at least, let's say, 8 Rand. So what will be the 8 Rand? The cost price. So can you hear? The cost price is smaller than the selling price. Listen again. The cost price is smaller than the selling price. If the cost price is smaller, okay, now look at the formula. What do you see? When you're going to calculate it, you times it with 100 divided by 100 plus the profit percentage. You multiply it with the smaller one, okay, because 100 is smaller than 100 plus the percentage. I'm going to repeat this. I'm trying to help you how you can remember the formulas. So if you need to calculate the cost price or the cost of sales, remember that is the smaller one, then the smaller one will be at the top, the 100. If you need to calculate the selling price is the bigger amount. What will then be at the top? 100 plus the profit percentage. Then it's changing. All right. I'm going to repeat it again. If you need to calculate the cost price is the smaller one, then the small one is at the top, the 100. If you need to calculate the selling price, that's the bigger one, then the big one is at the top. That means then it will be 100 plus the profit percentage will then be at the top. Right, so there was an example how you're going to calculate the cost price then. Now there's an activity, okay, it's not so unclear, all right, but if you don't see, you can ask. You will see there are some open spaces where you need to calculate a few things. There are 8 of them, so I want you to look there from 1.1 to 1.8. In most cases, the profit percentage is there. In some cases, the cost price is there. There are one where the profit amount is, and then there are a few cases where the selling price is, and then you can see where the open spots is. Right, let me do 1.1 with you guys. So 1.1, we've got the profit percentage, that is 25%. We've got the cost price of 30 Rand. So we've got the profit percentage, we've got the cost price. You need to calculate the profit amount and the selling price. Right, the best will be first to calculate the selling price. So now you need to know out of your head, and if you can't remember it, write it down now. You need to know how to calculate the selling price. How do you calculate the selling price? You take the cost price of 30 Rand times 100 plus the profit percentage. So it's 100 plus 25% divided by 100. All right, I'm going to repeat it again. So to calculate the selling price, you're going to take the cost price of 30 Rand times 100 plus 25% divided by 100. Okay, I will calculate it now and see what the answer is going to be. Listen again. You need the selling price. So when you multiply it, it was 100 plus the percentage. Selling price is the bigger one, so the big one is at the top. Right, let me just calculate it on my side. Let me just go into it. So to calculate the selling price, you take the cost price of 30 Rand times 100 plus the profit percentage, so it's times 125 divided by 100. And then you get an answer of 37.50 Rand. So that is your selling price, 37 Rand and 50 cents. And now you can go and calculate your profit amount. And how do you calculate your profit amount? You take the selling price, that is that 37 Rand 50 cents, and you subtract the cost price of 30 Rand. So your profit amount is then 7 Rand 50. Right. Let's see, continue with the activity. I'm going to give you a few minutes. First, try it on your own. Okay, we are going to go through it right now. I will do it a little bit every time, but just start with it on your own first. See if you can calculate and do the calculations. And as I said, remember the formulas that you need to remember. Okay, in the meantime, I'm going to do 1.2. 1.2, we've got 50%. We've got the cost price of 250. So again, let's first work out the selling price. To work out the selling price, you take the cost price of 250, you times it with 100 plus the 50%. So you're going to multiply it with 150 divided by 100, and that gives you 375 Rand. So that's your selling price, 375. And then you take the 375 minus the cost price of 250, and then you will get the profit amount of 125 Rand, 125. Right? 1.3, we've got 33 and a third percent, and we've got the cost price of 600 Rand. Right, so same story. First go and calculate the selling price. So how do you calculate the selling price? You take the cost price of 600, you multiply it with 100 plus the percentage. So that means it's going to be 133.3%. Okay, so the third you always put in on your calculator like 0.3. So you're going to multiply it with 133.3 divided by 100, and that gives you 799 Rand and 80 cents. 799.80. And then for the profit amount, then you take the selling price minus the cost price of 600. So then your profit amount is 199 rand and 80 cents. 199 rand and 80 cents. Let me do 1.4 first, and then you can continue with the examples there. So 1.4, we have the percentage of 25%, and we have the selling price of 19 Rand 25. So this time, you're first going to calculate the cost price. So how do you calculate the cost price? You're going to take the selling price, that is 19 Rand 25, and cost price is the smaller one, so the small one must be at the top. That means you're going to multiply it with 100 divided by 100 plus the percentage. So you're going to divide it by 125. And then you get an answer of 15 Rand 40 cents. So that is your cost price, 15 Rand 40 cents. And then you take the 15 Rand 40 cents, you subtract it from the selling price, the 19 Rand 25. The difference that you get will be then your profit amount, and that will be 3 Rand 85. 3 Rand 85. $1.5, we've got 50%, and we've got the selling price of 3,625. So to calculate the cost price, you're going to take the selling price of 3,625, and remember it's the cost price, so you're going to multiply it with 100 divided by 150. Then you get an answer, and that will be your cost price of 2,416 Rand 67 cents. 2,416 Rand 67 cents. And then you take that cost price, that 2,416 Rand 67 cents, you subtract it from the selling price, then you get an answer of 1,280 Rand 33, 1,280 Rand 33 cents, and that is going to be then your profit amount. Right, if we look at 1.6, there we have 33,3 or 33 and a third percent again. We've got the selling price of 900 Rand. So if you're going to calculate the cost price, then you're going to take the selling price of 900 Rand, you're going to multiply it with 100 divided by 133.3. and then you get an answer of 675 Rand and 16 cents, 675.16. So that will be then your cost price. And if you take that answer, that's 675 Rand 16 cents, and you subtract it from the 900 Rand, then the difference that you're going to get, that will be then your profit, and that will give you 224 Rand 84 cents. 224 Rand 84 cents. Right, if we look at 1.7, okay, strange one, because this time they give you the cost price and they give you the selling price. Okay, so first I will go and work out the profit amount. Okay, so how do you calculate the profit amount? You're going to take the selling price of 840 minus the cost price of 600. Then you get the profit amount of 240. And then to get the profit percentage, so here is another formula. To get the profit percentage, you take the cost price and the profit amount. So the profit amount we said is 240 divided by 600 by the cost price times 100. Why times 100? Because we want a percentage, and then you will get an answer of 40%. I'm going to repeat 1.7. So you have the cost price, you have the selling price. I will first go and calculate the profit amount. That is by subtracting the selling price and the cost price from each other. And then I will go and calculate the percentage profit. And how do you do that? By taking your profit answer, the profit amount, divided by your cost price times 100 to get a percentage. Right, at 1.8, also a very strange one. There they give you the profit amount of 555 Rand 55 cents, and they give you the selling price of 1,111 Rand 10 cents. What I will do is I will first go and calculate the profit percentage here. Okay, to calculate the profit percentage, you take the profit amount, the 555 Rand 0.55, you divide it by the selling price, so divided by 1,111 Rand 10 cents, and of course multiply with 100 to get a percentage, then you will get 50%. So the profit percentage is 50%. And then I will go and calculate the cost price. And now, how do we calculate the cost price? We said, remember, cost price is the smaller one. So that means you're going to take the selling price of 1,111 Rand 0.10. It's the smaller one, the cost price. So times 100 divided by 100 plus the percentage. So it was 50%. So you're going to divide it by 150. The answer that you're then going to get will then be your cost price, and that will be 740 Rand 73 cents. 740 Rand 73 cents. Right, why have we done all these calculations? Because when you're going to do the books in accounting of a trading business, especially the CRJ and later on the debtors journal, then every time in the transaction, they're just going to give you either the selling price or the cost price and the profit percentage, and you need to calculate then the other one. So that is why it is so important that you need to know your formula and need to know how to do these calculations. Oops, sorry people, one mistake. Right, okay. So I've went through these calculations now, but I want you to quickly take a rescan and don't put the answer in the chat box yet, okay? I'm going to ask certain ones that you're going to redo it for me in the chat box indicating, but please don't do it right now till I tell you to do. So what you guys can do is, and remember I've given you the answers, but I want you guys in the chat box to indicate to me how you are going to do the calculation or what the formula will be. Okay, so it's not going to help me that you're going to give me the answer. I want to know how you're going to calculate it. Right, so I'm going to look at number 1.1 for instance. 1.1, as I said, I've given you the profit percentage. I've given you the cost price. Right, you need to do what? First, go and calculate the selling price. Now, who can tell me now in the chat box? How are you going to calculate the selling price? So either you can give me the formula or you can make use of the amounts, but then you indicate it as a formula to me. So I will look in the chat box, look at 1.1. How are you going to calculate the selling price? Right, people. I think my host is offline, so I can't really see now in the chat box. Okay, so I'm just going to repeat it then. So if we look at number 1.1, and I'm going to say this again, we've got the profit percentage, we've got the cost price. You need first to go and calculate the selling price. The formula will be taking the cost price, like the 30 Rand, and you need to multiply it with selling price, bigger one. So you need to multiply it with 100 plus the percentage. So you're going to multiply it with 125 and divide it then by 100 to get an answer. Right. Another one that we're going to look, oh, sorry, yes. And then the profit amount is, then you take just the difference between the selling price and the cost price. Okay, let's look at 1.4 because there is a change with 1.4. This time they give you the profit percentage and they give you the selling price. So how are you going to calculate the cost price? Then you take your selling price of 19 Rand 25. Remember, you're going to calculate now the cost price, the smaller one. So you're going to multiply it with 100 divided by 100 plus the percentage. So you're going to divide it by 125 to get your cost price. The same story with the profit amount. So that will just be the difference between your selling price and cost price. Another example how they can ask it is like 1.7, for instance, where they give you the cost price and the selling price. Then I will first go and calculate the profit amount. And how do we get the profit amount? By subtracting the selling price minus the cost price. And then I will go and work out the profit percentage. Okay, to work out the profit percentage, then you take your profit amount divided by cost price. Profit amount divided by cost price times 100 to get a percentage. Or they might give you one like 1.8, for instance. There they've given you the profit amount and the selling price. So first I will go and calculate the cost price. How do you calculate the cost price? That is if you take your selling price minus your profit amount. And then to get your profit percentage, okay, we've done it with 1.7 as well. For the profit percentage, you take your profit amount divided by cost price times 100. So basically there I've repeated the different kind of formulas, how you can do these calculations. Right, now you must get ready with your calculator. If you're not going to remember it, you need to write it down. I'm also going to do it with you guys. Let's do an example, but I'm going to change the percentages and the amount. So you need to listen now, okay? I'm going to give you one like 1.2, for instance. Okay, like 1.2, but I'm going to change the percentage to 30%, and let's stick to the cost price of 250. So the profit percentage is now 30%. The cost price is 250. So you're going to calculate the selling price. Right. Let me just get my calculator. So how do you get the selling price? You take the cost price and press it now with me on your calculator. So you take the cost price of 250. You want the selling price, that means the bigger one. So you're going to multiply it with 130, because I said the profit percentage is 30%, divided by 100. And the answer that you're going to get is then 325. So you are supposed to get 325, and that will be your selling price. Right. At the same time, let's do the profit amount. So then you take the selling price, the 325, and you minus the cost price of 250. So that means your profit amount is 75 Rand. Profit amount is 75 Rand. All right. Let's do another example. Let's do one similar like 1.5. Okay, 1.5. We can stick with the same selling price, the 3,625 Rand, but let's change the profit percentage to 75%. Okay, so we're going to do similar like 1.5. We stick to the selling price of 3,625, but we change the profit percentage to 75%. So what are you going to calculate then? The cost price. To calculate the cost price, you take the selling price of 3,625. Remember, you want to calculate the cost price, the smaller one. So that means you're going to multiply it with 100 divided by 175. Why 175? Because the profit percentage is 75%. And then you will get an answer of 2,071 Rand and 43 cents. 2,071 Rand 43 cents. So that will be your cost price. Right, let's do another one. Let's do one similar to 1.7. 1.7. So you are going to calculate the profit amount and the profit percentage. Okay, let's make the selling price 1,000 Rand. The selling price 1,000 Rand, and we stick to the cost price of 600 Rand. The selling price 1,000 Rand, and we stick to the cost price of 600 Rand. So how do you do that? You're first going to work out the profit amount. To do the profit amount means you're going to take this selling price of 1,000 Rand. You're going to minus the cost price of 600 Rand. That gives you an answer of 400 Rand. So that's your profit amount. And then to get the profit percentage, you're going to take in the profit amount of 400 Rand divided by the cost price of 600 times 100, because you want to calculate a percentage. So that gives you then 66.6%. 66.6%. So that is your profit percentage. Right, final one that we're going to do for today is one similar to 1.8. 1.8. Oh, let's just redo that one. Let's stick to the same amounts there. The idea is so you can just see how to do it. So 1.8, you need to calculate the profit percentage and the cost price. You're going to start doing the cost price. How do you do the cost price? You're going to take that selling price of 1,111 Rand 10 cents minus the profit amount of 555 Rand 55. Okay, that will give you then an answer of 555 Rand and 55 cents. So that is your cost price. And maybe you guys will already see how much the percentage will be, but let's go and work it out. So if you take the profit amount, that is that 555 Rand 55 cents, and you're going to divide it by the cost price, and that is exactly the same amount, times 100, because you want a percentage, and then you will see he has made actually 100% profit on that one. Right, so as I said, guys, for today, it was just to understand the idea regarding the cost calculations. As I said, it's very important that you need to know the different formulas, how to calculate a cost price, how to calculate the selling price, how do you calculate a profit amount or a profit percentage. This is something that you're going to use, especially in your journals, the CRJ and the debtors journal, where they will normally give one of the two, either the selling price or the cost price, and then they will give you the profit percentage, and you need to go and calculate the other one. So if you cannot do these cost calculations, then it means you cannot also do the journals at the end of the day. This is just for a trading business. Okay, what you guys are going to do in grade 9. We've already looked at the journals, but you guys will remember I said last week already, we're starting actually from scratch again, and we're going to retake it over everything. Right, unfortunately, it's not going to help me to ask if there's any questions. Maybe you already tried to put something in the chat box. As I said, the host has lost connection. So unfortunately, it's only my recording that it's working now. So we cannot say anything to each other in the chat box right now. But if you have questions, please maybe write the question down on the piece of paper, and then you're more than welcome to ask it then tomorrow. So otherwise, guys, then that will be it for today. And then we will chat then tomorrow again. All right. Have a great evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.